Welcome back to the channel, Kules. The news coming out of Barcelona today is absolutely explosive. A Real Madrid legend is publicly praising a young Barcelona prodigy, saying he's never seen anything like it at that age. A forgotten midfielder has just been summoned back by the club for medical tests. Is Xavi planning a surprise reintegration? And Luis Diaz is now making demands to push through his dream move to Camp Nou. This transfer window just keeps getting better. Let's break down everything happening at Barcelona right now. In a recent interview with La Gazzetta dello Sport, hat-tip DAZN, former Real Madrid and Germany midfielder Toni Kroos gave his thoughts on the rise of Barcelona's young star Lamine Yamal. Kroos retired from professional football a year ago after an exceptional career with Real Madrid and the German national team. Kroos amazed by Lamine Yamal. Although he no longer takes to the pitch, Kroos' words still carry considerable weight in the football world. And the veteran icon did not hold back in his praise for Lamine Yamal. The two briefly shared the pitch as rivals, not only in the Clásicos but also at the UEFA Euro 2024, where Lamine proved to be a nightmare for Germany and played a key role in eliminating them from the tournament. The Spaniard, just 16 years old at the time, was one of the stars of the tournament. Spain's victory over Germany in the quarterfinals marked Kroos' final match as a professional. I also made the Bayern first team at 17, but I wasn't at his level, which is spectacular. I've never seen anything like it at that age. I'm talking about the consistency of his performances, because the natural talent is obvious, Kroos admitted. Continuing, he added, "What makes me think that this boy is special is his constant search for prominence on the pitch. In difficult moments he always steps up, and at 17 years of age that is not normal. He was the protagonist of 2 excellent seasons, the last one even spectacular. I have never seen a kid like him." At the same time, Kroos also reflected on the long-term challenges young stars face as he noted, "I always say that a career is not a sprint but a marathon, so we will see what happens in the next 5 to 10 seasons, if he continues to grow and how he reacts to everything that comes into football from outside. Success doesn't only depend on the pitch, it depends on what happens outside. It has a big impact and you have to know how to handle different aspects of life." Barcelona, summon, forgotten midfielder for medical tests. The brass at La Liga giants Barcelona have contacted forgotten midfielder Oriol Romeu to call for his return for a pre-season medical check. That's according to Diario Sport, who have on Tuesday provided an insight into the situation. Midfielder Romeu for his part finds himself in something of a precarious situation at present. Following a loan spell on the books of Girona in the 2024-25 season, the former Southampton man has since returned to base in Barcelona, with a year remaining on his contract. The problem for Romeu though, is that he does not feature in the plans of the Blaugrana in any way, shape or form. Not only that, but no clubs have yet come knocking to try to land the 33-year-old with a view to next season. The fact remains though that Romeu is a Barcelona player. And as alluded to above, owing to precisely as much, he has this week been summoned back to base in Catalonia, for routine preseason activities. As per a report from Sport, Oriol Romeu will be part of the medical tests this coming Sunday with the rest of his Blaugrana teammates. It remains to be seen whether the Spaniard is also afforded a call-up for preseason training with Hansi Flick's squad. Luis Diaz makes demand to seal Barcelona move. According to a report from AS, Luis Diaz is all set to snub Bayern Munich to join Barcelona as long as the Catalan club agrees to his demands. While he is not pushing for a release clause, he is looking for compensation if the Spanish club fails to register him in time for the new season. Diaz made a name for himself at FC Porto, and on the back of his impressive rise, Liverpool forked out €55 million to add him to their squad. Over the years he has only gone from strength to strength and has been a key part of their first team. Last season he was involved in a total of 50 matches under Arne Slot and even contributed towards 25 goals. While the 28-year-old still has 2 years left on his deal and the Dutch manager is keen on having him around, Diaz looks set for a move away from the club. The Reds are looking to offer him a new deal, but contract renewal talks have not gone as planned so far, with the Colombian feeling underpaid and now ready to take the next step in his career. Barcelona are one of the clubs that have been linked with him for some time now. The Catalan giants are looking to add more quality on the flanks. They were after the signature of Nico Williams but failed to strike a deal for the Spanish giants. As a result, they have shifted their entire focus to Luis Diaz, who has been in talks with Bayern Munich of late. Following the injury to Jamal Musiala, the German giants are looking to sign the Colombian international to fill that void. Diaz makes his demands known. They have reportedly agreed on personal terms with the 28-year-old. However, the deal is far from done and Barcelona are still in the picture. Diaz has a long-standing desire to join the Catalan Giants and will give them preference as long as they meet his demands. The Spanish club are already in talks with his agents as they look to draft a contract in case Liverpool are open to negotiating his departure this summer. While Diaz is not seeking a release clause that would make him a free agent if Barcelona fail to register him by August 31st, he is looking for compensation. The Catalan Giants will have to promise him additional funds if they fail to include him in their squad. While he is willing to wait amid their financial difficulties, the 28-year-old will only do so if he receives fair compensation. And that's the full picture from Camp Nou today. With legends praising our young stars, old names being brought back into the mix, and big players like Luis Diaz setting terms, Barcelona's project is clearly evolving fast. But what do you think? Should Barca meet Diaz's demands? Is the forgotten midfielder worth a second chance? And who do you think the Madrid legend was talking about? Let us know in the comments, smash that like button, subscribe for more updates, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a Barca bombshell. See you next time, and as always, Barcelona's summer transfer saga is heating up once again. After the intense drama surrounding Nico Williams' move and his strict registration demands, another top target has stepped forward, and he's not coming without his own set of conditions. Who is this player? What are his demands? And how will Barca's financial situation affect the deal? Stick around as we break it all down, from the latest negotiations to how this could impact the club's summer plans. Let's dive right in. Liverpool star Luis Diaz has laid out his demands to give the green light to a move to Spain with Barcelona this summer. That's according to Diario AS, who have on Tuesday provided an insight into the situation. Wideman Diaz has of course seen his name return to the forefront of the headlines in Catalonia's capital over recent days. This comes after Nico Williams' sudden decision to reject Barcelona, in favor of penning a new long-term contract with Athletic Club. The focus of Deco & Co. in turn has shifted back towards a deal for Diaz. As alluded to above though, whilst the Colombian is understood to be keen on the prospect of a Camp Nou switch, he, like Nico before him, is not willing to sign unless a registration clause is included in his Blaugrana contract. As per a report from as much would come to protect Diaz in the case of Joan Laporta and company being unable to register him with La Liga for next season. The Colombian international's representative office intends to demand a compensation that would force Barca to pay the Colombian a considerable amount if his registration is not formalized by August 31st. It now remains to be seen if the Barcelona hierarchy are open to as much. Barcelona have plenty on their plate again this summer, as they hold out for the approval of their VIP seats lease, which will define what business they can do in the transfer window. However, there has been some suggestion that the Blaugrana would be keen to offload one or two players that are not defined starters. That has been seen by a string of rumors in the Catalan press surrounding the likes of Marc Casado and Fermín López, both of who have been linked to Chelsea. The other key candidate for a sale is defender Ronald Araujo. Juventus were the leading suitor for Araujo. Previously, Araujo has been on the agenda at Bayern Munich and Manchester United, but T's most recent concrete interest was from Juventus. The Bayern Canary made a €35 million bid for Araujo in January, which was turned down, before Araujo signed a new deal with Barcelona until 2031. However, Sport report that Juventus have dropped their interest in Araujo. The main advocate for his signature was sporting director Cristiano Giantioli, who was replaced by Damian Kamali recently. Since Juventus have signed Pierre Calulu from AC Milan for €15 million too, ruling out Araujo from their plans. Mateo Moretto has also reported that La Vecchia Signora have not reopened talks with Araujo. Thierry Henry was not only one of the very best footballers of his generation, but the Frenchman has also carved out a career as a successful and knowledgeable pundit in his post-retirement life. When the Arsenal legend speaks, people listen. That's because he not only earned the right as the Premier League's best ever player, but also with the incredible way he articulates his points about the beautiful game. Henry was set the extremely difficult task of naming his all-time dream five-a-side team during an episode of Jamie Carragher's The Greatest Game podcast in 2019. Instead of picking a team from his generation, the 47-year-old opted to pick his top 5 football legends. He claimed it would have been difficult to pick the players he played with and against, ruling out the likes of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. So, below are Henry's top 5 footballers of generations gone by. When it comes to the football landscape before Messi and Ronaldo burst onto the scene, Diego Maradona had a significant claim to be the greatest football player to have ever lived, and still does to this day. The magical Argentine paved the way for Messi in many ways, with his silky dribbling and out-of-this-world ball control leaving defenders embarrassed regularly. Carragher just had to ask Henry for his take on the eternal debate about who was better between the two compatriots. The retired striker waxed lyrical about Maradona's impact on him as a child, while also crediting his ex-teammate Messi. Maradona is difficult. What? Because he was in the first World Cup I experienced, so you're always going to remember your first. It was ridiculous, and he's always going to inspire me more than Messi, because I was a kid. But Leo is a joke. The other man in the debate as football's GOAT before the 21st century was Brazilian icon Pelé. From World Cup hat-tricks as a teenager to becoming the all-time leading goal scorer in the sport, a record that was only bettered decades after he retired, the forward was truly one of a kind. Henry didn't bat an eyelid at including Pelé alongside fellow South American Maradona. After all, there aren't many players who could ever boast 3 World Cup titles, all while being the main man for perhaps the greatest national team ever seen. An inevitable goal scorer, Pelé will always be cemented in debates about the finest to ever grace the hallowed turf. And there you have it. With another key target now setting terms, Barca's transfer window is becoming a real chess match. The question is, can the club meet these new conditions and still comply with La Liga's tight financial rules? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Barcelona go all in or look elsewhere? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on all things Barca. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.